Hi class, in this video we are going to discuss the different types of functions that you might encounter as we go along with our discussion in general mathematics. So here are the following types of functions that we are going to discuss. First, we have the constant function. Next, polynomial functions, and then under this we have the linear function, quadratic, and cubic. Next, we have the rational function, exponential function, and logarithmic functions. So what is constant function? So constant function daw is a function which takes the same values for f of x no matter what x is. So this is a function wherein the range, yung ating f of x, consists of a single element. Kaya pag titingnan mo yung example, your range, which is your y value, is equal to 5 over 2, y is equal to negative 3, and the other one is y is equal to 5. So it means that the output values of the function at any input or any values of x is the same. That is why for a constant function, its graph is a straight horizontal line. Now let's have polynomial function. So a polynomial function is a polynomial of degree n, and it has a general form of f of x equals to a sub n times x raised to n plus a sub n minus 1 times x raised to n minus 1 plus a sub 2 times x sub 2 plus a sub 1 times x until pumunta ka sa a sub 0 or your constant. So, itong ating mga a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, or a sub n natin are what we call the coefficient. And these coefficients are in real numbers. Real numbers po siya. Then, you have, of course, your variables, and these variables are raised to n. So, yung n natin is our exponent, and take note, in a polynomial function, dapat daw po siya ay non-negative integer. So, it only involves positive integer exponent. So, dapat naka-raise lang yung mga variables mo in your equation by a positive integer exponent. So there are different examples of polynomial function or types of polynomial function na ma-encounter nyo din. So we have here first yung constant function na na-discuss na kanina, which is ito nga yung function wherein naka-equate or equal siya sa constant number. So for this case, bakit siya still considered as polynomial function? Wala naman po siyang variable. So, kasi po, yung variable for this case ay naka-raise siya sa 0. So, any variable that is raised by 0 will be equal to 1. That is why constant function is still under polynomial function. So, we have here the linear function. So, ito na-encounter nyo ito nung kayo ay junior high school. This is a polynomial function wherein the highest degree of your variable is equal to 1. So, ganun din, we have the quadratic function. So, when the highest degree of your coefficient or your terms is equal to 2, ayan, x squared, you will have a quadratic function. And when n is equal to 3, your highest degree is 3, you will have a cubic function. So, these are the different types of polynomial function na ma-encounter po nyo. Next, let's have rational function. So, a rational function is a function of the form f of x is equal to p of x over q of x. This p of x is our polynomial functions. So, hopefully, hindi na nalilito sa definition of what is polynomial function, no? So, this is just a fraction, or it can be written as a polynomial divided by another polynomial. However, Remember that in a fraction, bawal po na ang ating denominator, or for this case, our q of x should not be equal to 0 because it will make your rational function undefined. So, halimbawa nga po dito, we have f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 divided by or over 2x plus 3. So, we have a linear function or linear over linear. So, pwede po siya maging rational function. So, next, we have g of x. We have quadratic over linear. So, 2 times x squared plus 3 over 5x plus 1. Then, h of x is equal to 1 over 3x plus 1. So, dito, again, no, this is also a polynomial function, but particularly, it is a constant function. So, still, ayan po, these three examples are examples of rational function. Next, we have exponential function. So, this is a function in the form of y, or pwede natin isulat as f of x, equal to a times b raised to x. So, your a here is the coefficient, no? Then your b is the base, and your x is your exponent. So, where your a should not be equal to 0, of course, kasi pag multiply mo yan, you will have 0 and magiging constant function na siya. And take note lang din that your base should not be equal to 0 and it should be greater than 0. Pag tayo po ay nag-exponential function. So, let's check our examples. We have f of x is equal to 2 raised to x. So, again, in exponential function, you have a constant as your base and you have your independent variables or variable as your exponent. So, again, next example, we have f of x is equal to 1/2 raised to x. Then, we have here, f of x is equal to 3 times e raised to 2x. So, ito pong e na to ay mayroon po yung value that is a Euler number. And it is raised by 2x. Still, our exponent is still an independent variable. So, next, we have f of x is equal to 4 times 3 raised by negative 0.5x. So, again, yung x natin dito, this is still our independent variable, which is the exponent of our base na constant. So, upon checking naman, all the bases are greater than 0 and not equal to 1. And your a should not be equal to 0. Lastly, we have a logarithmic function. So, logarithmic functions are inverse of exponential function and vice versa. So, inverse po sila sa isa't isa. So, it is expressed in the form of y is equal to log x base b, wherein your x is greater than 0 and your b is greater than 0 and not equal to 1. So, when we said that logarithmic functions are inverse of exponential function, it only means that you can rewrite or you can express your logarithmic function into an exponential function. Or vice versa naman, pwedeng from exponential function, gawin mo siyang logarithmic function. Let's take for example yung ating general form na y is equal to the logarithm of x base b. So, kapag po gagawin natin siyang exponential function, same pa rin, your base will be b. And in a logarithmic function po kasi you're trying to solve for the exponent. So, yung y po dito, or yung naka-equate sa atin na function, will be your exponent. Then, you have equal to x. So, pwede mo po yung i-rewrite ng pabalik naman from exponential function to logarithmic function. So, let's say, for example, we have the logarithm of 8 base 2 equal to 3. So, kapag po sinulat natin yan as exponential function, you will have your base 2. Remember, sinusolve sa logarithmic function is the exponent. So, our 3 here will be placed sa exponent. And then, it is equal to 8. So, yan. Then, pwede mo rin siyang ibalik papunta naman ulit sa logarithmic function. So, ito nga po yung ating mga examples for logarithmic function. You have f of x is equal to logarithm of x base 2. Then, we have f of x is equal to the logarithm of x squared. So, again, x should not be equal to 0. Then, we have the logarithm of x plus 3. Still, logarithmic function pa rin yan. But, you might wonder, sa ating second and third example, then the rest of the examples, nawawala yung base. So, again, our base should not be equal to 1 and it should be greater than 0. So, anong nangyari? Bakit nawala siya? So, i-discuss pa po yan sa inyo. Pero, ang clue dyan, meron po yung base, which is 10. So, ayan po, we have the third example, 3 minus 1/2 logarithm of x. And last, f of x is equal to the logarithm of x minus 1 plus 2. So, these are the examples of logarithmic functions. So, I hope that you are now familiar with the different types of function. Kasi po ito yung mga functions na to, may-encounter at may-encounter niyo po ulit ito sa ating discussion under General Mathematics. So, that concludes my video. Thank you.